What is up, folks? Briston Gaming back with another episode of 7 Days to Die Mods Weekly, the show where we help you figure out what mods are good for you. And this week, as you can see here, we have a short, cool little week ahead of us. Before we jump into anything, I do want to take a second to say thank you to everybody who has liked and subscribed, stuff like that. Also, I really hope everybody had a good, happy Christmas or holiday. However, whatever you celebrate, I hope you had a good time. I hope you really enjoyed it. And I hope everybody has a good New Year's. So, with that, we're going to go ahead and jump into the mods. Now, our first mod, as you can see, is the Telrix Fishing. That's what I'm doing right here. I'm just sitting here, just kind of fishing. I've got the HUD turned off. Now, the cool thing about this mod is it adds an alternate food source. Now, a lot of people complain that Alpha 20 is hard to get food. I really haven't experienced that myself, but I can see how it's, a problem for a lot of people. This mod can fix that. So when you start into the game, you have to craft yourself a fishing pole. Now, I can't go ahead and reel this in. You see I've got this cool little buff there that shows plus 5% down on the bottom right. Or, I'm sorry, the bottom left. Now, that comes from using bait, like this little worm. So what happens is when you come into the game and you type in fish, when you gather up some lead weights, some forged iron, and a sewing kit, you can craft yourself a fishing hook. And then you need a fishing hook and a fishing reel to craft your fishing pole. So if we say fishing reel, this is what you need to make it. So it's all fairly cheap. If you wrench a few workbenches and stuff like that, you'll have more than what you need to craft yourself a fishing pole. And then you craft yourself a fishing chair, which is just wooden nails. You set the fishing chair down, you stand on it, and then you can just cast your line like normal, how this is out there, but you're going to have a very, very small chance to catch a fish. I think it's like 4%. But if you invest in living off the land, for harvesting plants and stuff like that, I think it goes all the way up to 20% at the end. And then if you use, there we go. So now we have to keep tapping F. Now we have a fish. Once this gets up to 100%, we will have caught a fish and we will have used our bait. Now each bait has its own separate chance of being consumed. You've got the worms, which is like a 5% chance to catch fish, and it's almost guaranteed to be used. I think every time you catch a fish, your bait gets used. But then when you look here at the grubs, you've got a 9% chance, 10%, something like that. And then the dragonflies are like 30% chance to catch stuff. So, the better bait you have, the more chance you're going to have of catching fish. And when you're out and about doing stuff, harvesting plants and stuff like that, you're just sitting here smacking this stuff, you have a chance of finding worms. When you're chopping down trees, it's dragonflies, I think. And then when you're harvesting dead animals, is it dead animals? I can't remember where I got the grubs. I've played around with it a little bit, but I can't remember everything about it. I know the worms and the dragonfly were the ones that I got the most. I don't remember where I got the grubs at, just during normal playthrough. I think it was just harvesting random stuff, and I just noticed I had grubs, and I was like, oh. But I noticed when I picked up the worms and when I picked up the dragonflies, so it was a little easier to see. But this is a really fun mod. It's not super breaking. As you saw, there was a little buff that happened on the bottom left-hand side of the screen that I didn't right-click fast enough to show, me taking the fish in. But there's all kinds of fillets. There's different kinds of fish and stuff like that you can make, different kinds of food that you can use. These different, well, that's not one of them. Different fillets and stuff like that. And you can use these for all different kinds of recipes and stuff for food. So that's why I like this, because it gives another food source into the game. And this was updated from the Alpha 19 version. It's infinitely more enjoyable now, I think, because of the bait and stuff like that. So I like it a lot more. Plus, with the way that they've changed how everything looks with, Alpha 20, I've just sat here before, just sitting here, just listening to YouTube or whatever, and just jamming away. All of a sudden catch a fish, like, oh, bam, there we go. And it's just relaxing. Like, I mean, zombies really don't come and bother you too much, the lady over there, but for the most part, you can just chill and hang out. But with that, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next mod. All right, folks. So the next mod is the Autobots Automated Mining and Ammunition Making Revisited, and that is a mouthful to say, by Aramis and Snufkin. It's an Alpha 19 mod that they brought into Alpha 20, and it's on here because it's still a really good mod to use, especially for a lot of new people who have a hard time figuring stuff out or just, progressing in general. I don't want people to get turned away from the game. I also don't want them to, have something super duper ultra breaking. And this mod kind of fits right in the middle, like a perfect situation. So what happens is you take your gas, and then you have the automated miner, and then you have the ammunition machine. So you come over to the miner. Now, if you don't have the crucible, you see you can't get the lead, the nitrate powder, and the brass. If you don't have the anvil, you can't get the rest of the stuff. So if you've only got the bellows, you can get the clay and the soil. So, this is good because as you progress further, as you find these things throughout the game, it lets you do a little bit more. But this is also really good because you can set this and forget it, especially for new players who don't know how to do proper mining in areas and stuff like that. They might undermine their base, have collapses, stuff like that. This really can help. So you just sit here, say we want clay soil. So we've got, a crap ton of gas. We want, there. We're going to do the full 2,000. But say we don't want that. Say we only want 15. No, 15,000. We're going to do one. Do 1,000 clay soil. We're going to do 1,000 iron. We're going to do 1,000 stone. Some nitrate powder. And some brass. Whatever. However you want to do it. The clay and the iron and the stone are probably going to be the things that people use the most. Just because you're going to need it for different kind of upgrades and stuff like that. The brass... Nitrate powder I can see people using more for making ammo and gasoline. Not ammo and gasoline. Just ammo, that and the coal to make gunpowder. So over here, once you've got everything installed, you have your dukes, you have your gunpowder, and you can sit here and you can craft your ammo. Now, I like this because this is actually cheaper than crafting it just normally. So if you use the lead, the gunpowder, the brass, the bullet tips and stuff like that, it costs a lot more than doing it this way. This costs you dukes, yes, but you get more ammo. So we're just going to go ahead and spawn in some gunpowder and some dukes real quick so I can show you. So we'll say dukes, we're going to spawn in some dukes and some gunpowder. So let's say we want some 7.62 because everything, is 7.62. So we're getting 500 for a lot less gunpowder and dukes than we would if you combine all the material to make the 500 rounds and you were to go sell it. It costs a lot more than the 1,833 dukes that we spent to make it. So you're actually turning a profit, so to speak, on this because you're able to make it cheaper. So it's better overall, especially for new players who don't know how to manage their dukes and stuff like that. Of course, late game, you're just going to have so many dukes you're not going to know what to do with, but this is a good source, an alternate source for new players. But with that, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next mod. All right, folks. The next mod is the Magbow by Russian Hood / Zaded, and we have some lovely people here who decided they wanted to help us test it out. This is actually a really cool mod. It was out a long time ago, Alpha 18, early Alpha 19. Zaded updated it, so if Russian Hood decides that they want it down, it's going to go away. But this is a really cool mod. It's a crossbow that holds 10 bolts. It's not rapid fire or anything like that. You can add the automatic trigger thing, but I wouldn't do it because there's kinds of bugs with it. But it's just, a really cool looking mod. So if I hit F5 and then P and then the brackets, you can see how it looks. Now, for whatever reason, it shows the bolt right there on the bottom. But it still looks kind of neat. You know what? We're actually going to go ahead and we're going to set the time back a little bit. I spent too much time goofing off and playing around. It got dark on us. But it looks really cool. I actually like the way that this looks. It's a very good looking crossbow, and I wish they had something like this in the game, like a high end, you know, the compound crossbow is fine and stuff, but I wish they had something like this that could be considered like not necessarily military, but like maybe special ops or something. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I just think this thing looks really neat. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go back into, you know, first person. Bam. Boom. The dude's head pop off like that. And bam. It didn't quite take her out, but it did some serious damage. And as you see, you know, we still have bolts, and it reloads really good. And this is actually craftable too. So if we come in here to our inventory, we type in Magbow. So you need springs, polymers, glue, forged iron, leather. And there are two versions. This is the slightly cheaper version that Zeded did. There's another version, the original, which takes a whole lot more stuff that I'm not going to go into because it's like super ultra expensive, even for like in-game stuff. So we're just going to leave it like this. And this is, you know, like I said, this is great. And this goes off the archery perks as well. So as you're, you know, going through and leveling, you can put points into archery and make this thing beastly and just really, really good for people. I've actually thought about doing a stealth playthrough with this thing just because of how OP it is at in-game. And it is an in-game weapon too. It's not something you're, you know, going to make day one, or at least I don't think you can make it day one. But with that, we're going to go ahead and move on to the last mod. All right, folks. So I know a lot of people are wondering, well, why didn't we get any Christmas gifts this year? And that's because you were probably naughty, or Santa and all his little helpers were here. Look at these little guys. This is the last mod. This is the Adridins. Sorry, dude, I don't know how to pronounce your name, man. The Christmas mod of the year. I don't honestly think there is a better mod than this for turning, you know, zombies into elves and Santa. So you've got the fat Hawaiian dude turns into Santa, and then just everybody else looks like little elves. And I think this is absolutely cool. Like, they just look so good. Look at that ragdoll effect. I'm actually gonna go God mode real quick so I can smack this dude. That big mama. Look at that ragdoll. That's just something else. I actually had to get a screenshot of this. This is so funny. I actually really like this mod. I think Adridin, I hope I said that right that time, actually did a really good job on this. The zombies are a lot harder. So when you play with this, even just this normal little party girl here, she's not as easy as she was. Like, that normally would have killed him, but she still got 1 HP left. So you're going to have a lot more fun with this just playing through if you want a challenge. Shut up. You too. And you. And it, as you guys saw, it changed the stags, like over here, to Rudolph. Look at that. That is just so neat. Now, the unfortunate part about this is it does change every zombie. So, you know, well, not every zombie, but most of the normal zombies and stuff like that, it changes to look like elves. Some of the special zombies I've noticed stay the same, but it kind of takes out some of the immersion. Now, this is really fun to play with for right now during this season, which is why I introduced the mod saying, you know, if you were wondering why you didn't get any presents because you were naughty, or it's because Santa's dead and so are all of his elves. This is a great theme type mod. If you're looking for something, you know, just kind of set up a theme for Christmas season, you know, you want to play just a little bit into the new year, stuff like that with it, it's fantastic. It's a very fun mod to use. I wish I had known about this prior to the last episode, because I would have shown this one off as well as the McPew-Pews stuff, because it is fantastic. I've played around with this for like the last few days, and I've had just a blast with these little zombies. Just starting a new game, it's really fun when you run into a building and you hear stuff being attacked, but you can't see because they're so small. Where the hell is this? What the hell's going on? And then you see just a little red hood pop up, and you're like, oh. It actually can be quite fun. But with that, we are done for the week, folks. Thanks for sticking around. I hope you had fun. Make sure you like, subscribe, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Have fun, take it easy, and we'll see you next time.